Friends. We pop into the world and immediately start mingling. Family are the first people you meet, and let's refer to them as friends for the rest of this video, because, you know.
Potato.
So you learn how to walk, how to talk, how to wipe your bum, all the generic human stuff. And then you go to school and learn some more generic stuff. This is where you're gonna make your generic friends. Friends that you just make because you're in the same room as them. Maybe your mom's friends' kids become your friends because that's convenient for both of your moms. Up until this point, you were just a generic human going through a generic system. But now, you're an adult, and along the way you've cultivated a sense of self, developed some interests of your own. And as we get more focused in life, as we begin to specialize in who we are, we need to build a supportive network around us that is going to keep us on track, to elevate us and to help us to actualize this version of ourselves. It's a whole thing in the self-improvement world that people talk about leaving your friends, cutting people off, cutting ties. It's like, oh, they're toxic. Well, we're going to take a different approach to the whole notion of friends and family and self-improvement today, because I think that a lot of people misunderstand or perhaps just don't approach it in the most productive and helpful way possible. So I'd like to shed some light on this based on my experience and based on some realizations that I've had around this. One of the main things that I see come up a lot is people judging other people as better than, or like, oh, they think they're all the rage and so they stop talking to us. It's valid for people to feel as though other people are, rejecting them or disregarding them, but it's the reason behind this that we need to look at. The way I see it is that our environment is what we will adapt to. When we're in school, or like historically, when you don't have any specific path in life, you're just learning the basics. But then when you want to do something more specific, you're going to need to connect with people and be around people that are on that same trajectory. If I'm running a marathon, which I am in August, it makes sense for me to train with people and to speak with people that are also running a marathon, because we both have the same goal and we both are learning the same things at the same time. Whereas if I was trying to network exclusively with people that are running half marathons, that's not going to help me achieve my goal of running a marathon. I'm not saying a marathon is better than a half marathon. And this is where we run into this predicament where people say, oh, you think you're better. It's like, no, that's the meaning that you're giving it. We give meaning to things, right? So if I want to run a marathon versus someone else wanting to run a half marathon, neither of those are better or worse. Although someone might come along and perceive one better than the other. But ultimately, that's your trip. That's my trip. That's the human ego taking hold of the steering wheel and bringing judgment to something that was actually neutral to begin with. If we look at this in terms of business or health or trying new ways of living, new ways of building wealth, if you're hanging around with people that don't have experience with that, then it's going to be unlikely that you're going to find support to build what it is you're hoping to build. If I want to start a business, if I want to learn about how to, legally avoid tax, the best person for me to speak to and to spend time with is somebody that has experience with that. So I might be likely to speak to entrepreneurs who have been on the path of entrepreneurship for a while and who have cultivated experience, because now being around these people, I can pull from their wealth of knowledge based on their experience, and I can bring that into my own life and into my own business. And then I can start to expand and thrive in the realm of entrepreneurship. Whereas if I'm speaking with somebody who has worked a job for a company where they don't have to look after taxes, they don't have to deal with lead generation and all of these other things that are involved in running a business, it's just not as supportive for me to speak to those people, because they don't have the knowledge and skill set, most likely, that someone who has been in the space of entrepreneurship would have. When I speak about the notion of your friends ruining your life or whatever, what I'm saying is the version of you that you wish to step into, that you're cultivating, is going to need support. We need to view life holistically, in the sense that your friends and your business life or your financial life or your health, they're all intertwined. So if you're spending time with people that don't have the same health goals as you, then it's going to be challenging for you to stay on track. Accountability is so important in my experience when it comes to health, when it comes to exercising and eating and all of these things. To have other people that are on the same trajectory that you can speak with and bounce ideas off of is super important. And you're going to really struggle to reach your goals and to actualize the vision that you have for yourself if you are not surrounding yourself with friends, with family members, or whatever it is that are going to support you. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, is something someone said. And it's very accurate in my experience, because I look back at times where I didn't really have any connections that were entrepreneurial in nature. And I felt very alone because I didn't have anybody that could relate to the financial struggles that I was having, or the uncertainty around clients, or the confusion around tax things. But once I started to connect with more people like this, it became normal that that's what we spoke about. We spoke about how we overcome our challenges. We spoke about finding solutions. We spoke about new ideas to bring to our offerings as business people. And those are simply just conversations that you're not going to have with someone that doesn't have that experience. And so in order for me to be the best entrepreneur, let's say, for example, it is so important that I'm surrounded by other people on that path. There's a huge misconception and judgment over the idea that it's your friends that are dragging you down, and so you have to let go of your toxic friends. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is the way that you are is going to vary depending on who you are spending time with, depending on what places you're going. So if you are in an environment that is doing one thing, but you're trying to do another thing, then you're more likely to adapt to the environment you're in. So if your goal is to make 100K next month, the logical thing for you to do would be to get into an environment with people that are making 100K a month already, because then you're more likely to adapt to that environment. Whereas if you're in an environment of students or people that are on a salary that's capped, you're probably not going to tap into the knowledge and skill sets and mindset required to make 100K in a month. And so the logical thing to do is to be in the group of people that are making 100K. Again, we're not saying there's a judgment toward 100K being better or worse than the other option that was mentioned. They're just simply what they are. And then the mind comes along and has its own judgments based on conditioning and projection. And we'll say, oh, well, you think you're better, or you think you're better. No, we don't need to go into any of that. You just need to focus on what you want, what you aspire to live your life like, and then find an environment that is going to be supportive in helping you to actualize that potential. That's all it is. It's not about being better. It's not about a hierarchy. It's simply identifying what it is you want and then making adjustments in your life that are going to help you achieve that. And the thing is, it is better for everybody involved when we let go of certain situations and people and circumstances that aren't serving us. Again, there's always potential for there to be judgment around this. You know, the idea of like, oh, you think you're better than this situation, so you're going to that situation. It's not that at all. It's not about just eradicating people from your life and your story. They can still be there, and a lot of them probably will be. It's about noticing how your environment is suiting your objectives. And as soon as you get the environment right, then you'll start to see progress. And then when you get that progress, you'll have more energy, more resources, and then you will be able to have more, let's say, downtime for that kind of generic just hanging out and chilling. So it's not like you need to axe half of your life and then find a new half. It's just about inviting in more of what's going to support you for your current endeavors, and then being aware that some of the old people or patterns in your life aren't serving the new version of you that you're birthing. Nobody is better or worse than another person. No situation is better or worse. But you're going to have your preferences, and you need to act in accordance with those preferences. There's this idea that you need to be loyal to friends or family or whoever, and like, oh, I did all of this for you so long ago, and now you're we don't need to go down that path of judgment, because ultimately when you actualize and you step into your vision and make it manifest in the real world, then you will be more expanded and be more open to all interactions around you. Because as we expand ourselves, we expand our awareness, we expand our capacity to connect on a deeper level than before. My friend, you are worthy of the vision that you have in your mind's eye, and you are welcome to step into it. And nobody needs to suffer. In fact, when we refuse to step into that vision that we hold for ourselves, that is suffering, because we're remaining constricted, even though expansion is on the horizon. Thank you for checking out this video. Wishing you the best. I invite you to watch this video next. It's the most important upload I've made on this channel, so I'll see you over there.